Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's July 27th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Check out the troughing here off the west coast of North America. You can even see the spin off of Haida Gwaii there. This should be dropping down the coastline a bit. We'll take a look at that little system there. It is fairly weak, but it might kick off some thunderstorms, especially across the higher terrain of BC, North Cascades of Washington, and better chances the further east you go across Idaho and Montana. We'll also take a look at the big ridge starting to build across the southwest. How far will that make its way up towards the Pacific Northwest? Some signs of ridging, and they extended all the way up the coast of North America as well. We'll take a look at those details as always. Looking at visible satellite imagery, you can see that forest fire smoke across central Oregon there, and this is the bedrock fire out there. They still don't know the exact cause, possibly human. And yeah, it's producing a lot of smoke in that general area. Some of that drifting off to the northeast there and across some of southern Oregon as well. Marine layer pushing up against the coastal range here down the Chehalis Gap. Just kind of high clouds elsewhere for the most part today. This is looking at the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center, so you can kind of see where the bedrock fire is down there. And they do give some nice updates here if you want to check this out. Go ahead and do a Google search for that. Yeah, so interesting stuff there. That fire activity moving across some of the central Cascade region of Oregon. Not a good thing there, as you saw on the map. And this is a home weather station. If you want to save 10% on, click on the link down below. All solar powered, all wireless, nice smartphone app. Does a little forecast for you, stores all your data for you in the cloud as well. This is SeaTac Washington, 76 degrees, 3 degrees below average, 79 for this time of year, all the way through the end of July. And I think we're done with precipitation here as we move through the end of the month. At least we got the one day with 900ths of an inch, but we're going to end up below average here. The average for this for the month of July is 6/10 of an inch. And there's that 103-degree day back in 2009, July 29th. Here, you guys might remember that one. This is our warm and hot period of the year here across the region. This is Spokane Wednesday forecast. You can see the bump up as you go through the weekend here. Temperatures increasing, peaking on Saturday there. And here we go off through Idaho and Montana. You can see there is a severe storm possibility as we go through Friday, July 29th coming up here. So just a heads up, better chances the further you go east. If you're driving on I-90 out towards Helena or Boulder, Bozeman, whatever you're doing out there, heads up for those thunderstorms. And this is understanding severe thunderstorm outlook categories. National Weather Service. Sometimes we deal with marginal or slight out here. Once in a blue moon, we might get some enhanced here as we did a few years ago. But most of this moderate and high category is generally off to the east of the Rocky Mountains here where they get better moisture. But you can see the definitions for severe storm is significant, severe. So if this ever does come up, you can just go to the National Weather Service page and see exactly what they're talking about. Now, this is the GFS. This is last night's run here. This is 500 millibars. You can see the troughing hanging out, that weak system just kind of bubbling around off the BC coastline here. And you can see the ridge kind of moving off to the east as we go through the 100-plus hour forecast. But watch what happens to the extended here. You can see that troughing kind of weaken and move off to the northwest a bit here. And this ridge tries to build across the southwest here and tries to extend up across some of the west coast of North America, all the way up across some of the Yukon, Northwest Territories here. So we may be warming up as we go into August. You know, there's some model disagreement with this as well. And you can see it doesn't last too long. And you can see we don't have that ridge of high pressure right over the Pacific Northwest like we did in 2021, for example. So we're not looking at some sinister heat dome as of right now. But this could bring some pretty warm conditions. And there's a lot of fires burning across Canada, so we really were hoping to help them out a little bit more than that. But yeah, there goes that ridge there on the GFS. Let's take a look what the European here says in a moment. But GFS, one more time, ensemble mean. This is the average of all 30 ensemble members on the GFS. And as we scroll through here, you can see the troughing hanging out, ridge bubbling off to the east here. But then you can see this ridge start to build back towards the west. And you can kind of see that ridging position there along the west coast of North America, extending all the way up towards Alaska here as we go through the extended. So this is what we're watching for now. Nothing too crazy and nothing to get worried about just yet. This is a European ensemble mean here. This is the average of all 50 ensemble members yesterday afternoon. You can see the troughing kind of hanging out there. The ridge move off to the east here. Good agreement with that. Then you see as we go through the extended, you can kind of see that ridge position moving up all the way towards the Yukon and Alaska here as we go on in through August, early August here. But not a huge signal right now. Just something we're watching here for above average conditions potentially. This is the European ensemble control. So this one goes out 15 days. There goes that trough again. Let's see what kind of agreement. There goes the bump off to the east here with the ridge, and then it starts to build here. But you can see this trough not far away here. So we've got some model disagreement here. You know, we're not looking at a huge heat dome as of right now. That can change as we get closer, but it's just something we'll be watching. Here we go with Klamath Falls, Oregon. You can see that bump in temperatures here as we go through August 5th and 6th, the weekend there. potentially pushing 100 degrees here. We'll see how that trends. This is Brookings, Oregon. You can see we're not dealing with the very warm weather here off the coastline there, which tends to come with the offshore flow. We're not seeing that in the forecast right now, and this is purely noise here in the 6-hour precipitation on the GFS. Portland, Oregon, here you can see the bump towards August 5th and 6th there as well. Seattle, you can kind of see maybe some above average conditions here. Purely noise in that precipitation signal, but we might be looking at a pretty warm seafair weekend here for Seattle. We'll continue to watch that as always. And you can see the red line for Seattle is the average temperature this time of year. You're looking at upper 70s at this point. We might be above average here as we move on in through early portions of August. Looking off into Fantasyland for some precipitation potential. There's a few members showing something here. This is something we'll watch as we go on in through the August 6th period here. Maybe we can get a thunderstorm here down across western Washington, western Oregon. We'll see how that works out. Victoria, BC, something similar there. Just a few random ensemble members showing precipitation amounts. This is the European ensemble means. Let's go ahead and scroll through here. This is going to go out 15 days, and you can see BC, maybe the Washington Cascades here, maybe kick off a thunderstorm over the next day or two across the Olympic Mountains here. But you can see we're just in our dry period here. It is tough to get precipitation along the west coast here, as you can see. It tries to throw Seattle a little bit here. Not much for the Willamette Valley or the coastal areas of Oregon. And you can kind of see it there as we go through August 10th shown here. This is looking at that system out there. So this is 500 millibars. I want to show you something interesting here. You can see that system quite visible here at 18,000 feet, but it's an upper level low, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. So you can kind of see that system kick through here, and we keep the troughing going as we go on into the 144-hour period. This would be about Tuesday night. Now look at 10,000 feet. Can you see that same system there? You can. It's moving down the Vancouver Island coastline there, bubbling around. Starts to kick off through the interior of BC here, through the end portion of the run here. But now let's look at the surface. And actually, let's do this. Let's go to ensemble control so we can look at 144 hours with that as well. Can you see that feature at all? Maybe a little bit of a bump here, but not much. That's what we call it an upper level low. It's really not discernible at the surface levels here, although it may kick off some thunderstorm activity. Definitely not anything we're going to see like in the winter or fall here with the low pressure systems that you can clearly see on some of these weather model maps. These systems are very weak at this time of year. This is lightning flash density potential here, and on the European, as we go through the day today, you can see the North Cascades potential there. BC, higher terrain here. Can't even rule out a thunderstorm popping off across the Olympic Mountains. Maybe it might be some wishful thinking there, but Blue Mountains off through Idaho and Montana here, better chance. And we go through Friday afternoon. Let's see what kind of redevelops here. You can see BC, the main player, again with Idaho and Montana as well. Let's scroll on in through Saturday here for you backcountry folk across the North Cascades here. Maybe even kicking off one across the Oregon Cascades here. Who knows? We'll watch that in a little bit more detail tomorrow. And as we go through Sunday, you can see that chance is pushing off to the north and east. And again, BC seems to have some thunderstorm chances every single day here all the way through the weekend. Now, this is looking at the UW model here. Now, this you have to really look closely here. And I debated even showing this, but you can kind of see that system out there. This is lightning potential here, and you can see that across the Idaho Panhandle. Maybe, not really even. That's just northwest Montana here. But as we go through here, let's go through Thursday afternoon, and you can see maybe a little bit across the North Cascades there. No promises. I'm just kind of looking and trying to pick things out of the forecast here to get excited about. But yeah, maybe across the North Cascades. So if you're off in the backcountry out there, watch out for the potential of a thunderstorm today. This is looking at the composite reflectivity, what the Doppler radar may look like. And you can see during the afternoon and evening hours across the North Cascades, there it is right there, kind of generally north of Lake Chelan up into British Columbia, biggest threat there. Here we're looking at 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here, still with the above average signal here. But, you know, we're not going to be exceptionally hot here across the region through August 5th. It doesn't look right now, but we'll watch that as we get closer. That could still change. And this goes through August 9th here, as you can see, 8 to 14. A pretty good signal there, but that's probably picking up on that ridge. Will it happen? We'll monitor that. 6 to 10 day precipitation probability, August 5th here. You can see a little bit below average here, but across the Intermountain West here, better chances. Thunderstorms would be the cause of that. 8 to 14 days, something here. We're not going to put too much stock into that just yet. This was issued yesterday, but you can see NW1, that's Northwest Washington, actually has some elevated fire risk as we go through Thursday, Friday, and Sunday coming up here. So just have a heads up. And really anywhere across Pacific Northwest, you should just consider things elevated elevated fire risk anytime during the summer, really, unless we've just been getting drenched, which is pretty rare at this time of year. This is a drought monitor. This was updated, I believe, yesterday, and the only thing I can see change is some severe drought was introduced across southeast Washington, some of the Idaho Panhandle here, and into Montana. Otherwise, I didn't see much of any change here. The east slopes of the Cascades, Washington not doing too bad, but you can see the severe and moderate drought across some of western Washington, western Oregon, the Cascades here also. So yeah, that looks like the only change that showed up there, but not good that we're reintroducing some drought across the area. Anyway, yeah, so we're dealing with this upper level low for a while. I'm interested in to see how this ridge develops here. We'll probably get better model agreement as always as we move closer to that potential here. So we'll watch that over the next few days. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Leave some comments below. Seems like the channel's doing great. You guys leave some very positive comments. Seems to be kind of an outlier there on YouTube. If you look at some of the videos you see, there's some pretty interesting conversations going on. But it seems like I have a lot of intelligent people watching this channel here. So there's a lot of good comments, a lot of positivity, and yeah, hopefully we can keep it up. And things will eventually pick up here as we move into the fall and winter months. I look forward to that, and I guess we'll take that journey together here coming up, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.